just a second. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Okay, it'll be just be on camera first, and then I'll introduce you, and we'll both be on. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Second Street. I hope you're all having a very good day today. Make sure that if you are here, if this is your first time here, make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell and all of that good stuff. And most importantly, make sure that you hit that like button, because you know what? Today, we're going to have a very special guest on the show today. One of my favorite YouTube content creators out there. And I'm telling you, this guy is amazing. And you know what? This guy is one of the only guys I know whose favorite YouTube channel is his own. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me the pleasure of introducing to you one of, well, you've probably met him before. One of my favorite YouTube content creators, that is Chillmonger. Everybody put your hands together and give some likes and super chats for Chillmonger.
Hey, I did not expect that intro. That's very nice. It's very, like, if I had you on my channel, I wouldn't have done half that intro, but I appreciate it.
That's because I'm not your favorite YouTuber. You are. So, I want to thank you so much for being on here today. And for those who don't know you, go ahead and just introduce yourself and talk a little bit about yourself really quick.
Yeah, I started YouTube about 2 years ago, about the same time you began. I began January 8th of 2019. I talk about comic books, I talk about movie stuff, and anything else that interests me, which is like Star Wars, stuff like that. I'm similar to Trinity is. You've seen me in the chats during these live streams. Chillmonger.
Yes, definitely, guys. If you aren't subscribed to Chillmonger, you got to go check out his channel. Awesome content creator, and I mean, you know what? It's great that he's here, because you know here on Second Street, there's one thing that I'm coining this new term. You know, nothing to do with Bill O'Reilly, I swear, but it's the no grift zone. And believe me when I say that, when it comes to the no grift zone, Chillmonger is one of them guys. He's one of the guys that's He's one of those guys out there. You're not going to see this guy grift for anything.
I'm not sure what grift means.
It basically just means that you're out there. You're going to clickbait and you're going to lead people on for, you know. You're out there just looking for clicks, views, money, anything to get the attention. Even if it means lying to your viewers.
There are some of those, especially the Star Wars YouTube community.
Right.
It turns out that Brie Larson, this and that, and...
Speaking of which, did you know that Brie Larson is in cahoots with Disney? She's not going to be Captain Marvel. Sorry, anyway, we're having a little too much fun here. We're having a little too much fun. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to talk to Chillmonger about WandaVision, and before we do that, let us know, what's your hype level for WandaVision? Let us know if you have any theories or speculations down in the comments below. We're going to get in and say what's up to everybody before we get into this conversation with Chillmonger, where we will be talking about WandaVision. First off, we got Mike Porter, my favorite Porter, with a $4.99 super chat. Says, thanks, Trinity and Chillmonger. You the man, Mike Porter.
Thanks, Mike.
We've also got ReeferMan Reviews, my man here. Will Morgan. XR Coon is here in the building as well. What is up? Yeah, Con Man is a grifter, right? Yes, definitely. Definitely. And believe me, there's nothing wrong with having views and opinions, and you know, even ones that people don't like and people don't share with you. That's okay. But you know what? One of the things I get tired of is, you know, and I know you see it too, plenty out there, is, you know, people who will, you know, like the latest thing I see. Remember, this is the really bad one. I know there's a new one going around because they did something in the comics recently with Star-Lord, but I think the newest, like the most recent one I could think of that people really grifted off of was God, what was it? The Wolverine and Cyclops special, where everybody was thinking that they're all hooked up and everything when it was like some fan art going around. Yeah.
So fan art is what made that story happen. I thought like the artwork in the actual comics was enough to make people, you know, speculate. They were a little bit too comfortable on those chairs There's a little bit of Jean Grey sharing in one of those
Yeah, I
comics.
think they insinuated that Jean is a little open with both. To me, it didn't really seem like the two of them were. But
Not until the hot tub happened. When the hot tub happened and she got real close to
yeah,
Logan, that's when I started saying, okay, wait, the fans, they were wrong before, but this is reason to raise an eyebrow.
I am True Skills is in the building. Aggressively relaxing says aggressively relaxing is a grifter. Mike Porter says, Hype 10 saw a new spot for WandaVision. I can't wait. I seen that one too. Marriage. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
All right. So,
I'm just as confused as I was for the first two trailers that they put out.
Yeah, and the thing is like what I don't get is everything that we got going on with this series so far. There's just I'm not sure if you caught what I was saying yesterday, but it kind of feels like Wanda is being held captive and being held, and I think she's being held captive by Sword. Because obviously we see them there in the trailers and everything. Monica Rambeau is actually working for Sword. Because she's wearing a necklace that has the little Sword logo and everything on in the trailers. And I also seen some. I don't remember seeing it in the trailer, but I did see some pictures where she's there with like Randall Park's character and even Darcy. And they're sitting there. I think it was Darcy, and they're sitting there like it looks like they're looking at a monitor or something, and they're kind of it looks like they're taken aback, but it looks like Sword is probably sitting there. Maybe has Wanda. Maybe they're keeping her under wraps, keeping her somewhat kind of captive, just because she technically broke the Sokovia Accords. I guess that would be kind of part of their reason. But
is that still in effect?
Yeah, I believe it would be, because we were talking about some other things when we look at things like Falcon and Winter Soldier, where things are going on there, where the Sokovia Accords are very much in effect, considering we still see General Ross out there and just some of the different things that kind of give us that feeling that they are still.
I saw General Ross at the funeral for Tony, and you would think while he's there, he's looking at all these superheroes. A lot of them were on the wrong side of the Sokovia Accords. I think maybe he'd arrest them there. Of course, it would be totally inappropriate to do it there. So maybe that is a reason why.
Yeah, and I kind of thought about that too. And you know what? I just realized something here. Let me get this off of there. There we go. Now we can see all of Chillmonger's handsome face without the chat taking it out. But yeah, and it just made me wonder, because I mean, obviously there's something still in place, or something. It may not even be the Sokovia Accords. Maybe those have been changed. Maybe they've been amended, because obviously we still see that, like, we know that Shield is no longer around. We know that General Ross still wants stuff, but then going into Falcon and Winter Soldier, we can see they still got some sort of control over everything in these sorts of ways, and they now have Sword. And part of my big thing was, it seems like Sword does have this kind of, like, this little town that Wanda's in. It seems like a little town, and it reminds me so much of Pleasant Hill from the comic books, when that happened, going into right before Civil War II happened. And Pleasant Hill was basically a prison that was created by Kobik, which was the cosmic cube that had exploded after Shield was experimenting with it, and they created a prison using it because Kobik was a sentient little girl, and they used it to not even rehab criminals. They put them basically in a prison, and they changed their minds and made them think that they were living in like small town USA, which is kind of what this town in WandaVision seems like to me.
Okay. See, I was thinking House of M, where she creates her own reality, except we never had the lead up to House of M, which was X-Men Disassembled and the other stuff happened to her to get to House of M. So I'm curious of how she gets to that point where it's what we see in the trailer, which we really don't know what's going on. But with Sword being the group that's investigating her, they're the Sentient World Observation. They're the Space Shield. Why are we calling this Space Shield for them instead of like regular ground level people? Randall Park's character Jimmy Woo. Last we saw him, he was part of, is it CIA?
FBI.
He was part of the FBI. So I guess he gets promoted to Shield somehow. I mean, sorry,
well,
Sword.
The thing is, I think in the trailer it looked like he's still wearing an FBI jacket.
But Monica Rambeau's wearing Shield.
Right. And that's the thing is, like, I seen a Funko Pop coming out with Monica Rambeau where she's wearing like the Spectrum outfit, but instead of having the Spectrum symbol, it had the sword symbol on it. So I think she's working for them, and I think where that would come in at is where Randall Park's character is. I think like maybe I think perhaps they're taking the two and maybe combining them, where maybe she's under like a house arrest, and Randall Park's character with the FBI is maybe keeping an eye on her, and maybe Sword sees things that are going on, and they start to step in and observe her. And then maybe through all of that, through her imprisonment, I think that is possibly where she starts creating her own reality. And maybe that's where they're sitting there monitoring her. Sword is sitting there going, what the hell is going on? And then we see in the trailer where Monica comes in. She's like, who are you? She's like, I don't know. Because she has no clue what's going on. And I'm wondering if that's kind of what's going on. Because even in the Pleasant Hill books, which was... like I said, they had all the bad guys there in prison, and they basically had their minds warped, thinking they were somebody else. Eventually what happened was Zemo and all the bad guys got out, and they put the Avengers inside, and they were the ones that thought they were somebody else while the bad guys got out. So it seems like there's somewhat of, like, I've seen a lot of things in the MCU that kind of lead me to believe that Pleasant Hill is close to Civil War II even. But then we're seeing what's going on in WandaVision with her making up that reality, and then we know that Multiverse is coming. It makes me think that all of this stuff could be getting ready to explode from this series.
And let me add something else to that. Sort of related, but sort of all unrelated. In The Mandalorian, we had a trailer come out, and only the first 4 episodes, scenes from the first 4 were represented in the trailer. This is going to be 6 episodes. So do you believe also, like, the first, I guess, 3 episodes, since it's cutting in half, are the scenes from the trailers that we've seen only from the first 3 episodes? Is that enough story, everything you just threw at me, is that enough story to fit in the first 3 episodes? And then they just leave it up to the imagination for what happens in the next 3?
You know, I think it could be. Because seeing if they just establish the fact that Wanda is being held captive and being observed. Basically, she's on house arrest, just like Hawkeye and Ant-Man were. And, you know, just seeing that, like, okay, they establish, okay, she's basically on house arrest, and something starts going on, and Sword comes in and starts monitoring her and seeing what's going on, because she starts creating this reality in which things are going bonkers.
Yeah. This fits. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Because then from there, it seems like maybe, you know, and it makes me think like maybe they're doing that sort of storyline, because in the trailers it seems like Agatha Harkness is there, but maybe Agatha Harkness is actually one of the other people being held captive in this small town. I've mentioned the person that Agatha Harkness is there with as well, inside of, that's there with her as well,
hey,
the black guy that's sitting there, and he's like, hey, friend. And he just has this really creepy look on him. And it's like, who is this guy? And then I think it was XR Kun, was it yesterday? Was he even saying about the beekeeper that's there as well? And everybody, like, there's a whole bunch in there that seems like, and we know that MCU takes everything and they cherry pick stuff. And it makes me...
Yeah, the good stuff. Yeah, they cherry pick the good stuff and they leave all the bad stuff that didn't.
And it makes it seem like they could be taking a lot of these little things and putting them all in there together, where it seems like they could be having all these people who are being watched, being observed, these high-powered individuals put in a little township and having their minds warped where they would never even know. And I don't know, it just seems like it could be something like that for me.
I'm with you. I'm gonna keep an eye out for this Pleasant Hill theory and see it play out.
Yeah. Like I said, it's some crazy stuff. Like just seeing everything that's going on, because we got so many storylines in the MCU that are getting ready to merge at this point. I mean, there's the Disney Plus series is, you know, I've called it long called it a game changer, because they are taking the shows and actually building them into their world universe. And I've had people say, like, oh, well, Star Wars is doing that, but they're not. They haven't done that yet. There has been no crossover
I would
from the
say Star
shows
Wars is
to the movies yet. There's been crossover from the movies into the shows, obviously, but not the other way
yeah.
around yet.
Unless you want to consider we heard Ahsoka's voice in Rise of Skywalker, and I wouldn't give that any points.
Yeah, I definitely don't. I don't think so, and that's why I say I think the Disney Plus thing with the MCU is that big game changer because they are building it, and that's why I've even said here like what are your expectations? Because mine are that Kevin Feige said these are going to be movie quality, and even what I've seen out of the Star Wars stuff, like with the Mandalorian, it's not movie quality. It's like almost there, but there's just little things that I nitpick out of like every episode.
Because you can tell the difference between when they're on set, when they're shooting the volume. You can tell that. I couldn't, and I'm fine with it. So for me, Mandalorian's movie quality.
Right, yeah, and the thing, same thing happened, and like you just, I've seen it in movies too, where they try to balance stuff like that, where you get like, you kind of get to points where like the production, like I think the biggest glaring thing was Aquaman. There are scenes in that movie that are just absolutely beautiful, shot great, action scenes that are awesome, but then there's some of it
Yeah.
where the quality goes down and it looks like they're shooting a TV show. And there's not anything wrong with that, but I think for me the thing is like Kevin Feige, they've been doing this for a number of years now, obviously with the technology and everything. I think, and even him saying that it's going to be movie quality, I'm going to expect a little bit more out of the MCU than I do the Star Wars stuff.
Okay. Even if it's like a hair less quality than Star Wars, I'm so happy with Star Wars that my expectations will be met with quality, with how it looks and stuff. From that scene with Falcon and the Winter Soldier in the trailer, he's zipping and zapping and he's taking back his wings so he can roll and drop a little bit. And ooh, that's quality, movie quality. Would you say?
Absolutely, absolutely. The Falcon and Winter Soldier. I mean, seeing that trailer was mind blowing, and I was watching, and I know this whole time we've kind of been speculating that that's gonna be like, oh, Falcon's gonna become Captain America. After seeing that trailer, I don't think that's the case at all. I think, and one of the things I thought for a while was I think it's going to go into like maybe at the end of this series he becomes Captain America, and the next movie we see him do that. But it looks like in that series he's coming into his own.
Yeah, which is probably what I would do. But they did do something with Captain America. The theme of Captain America played when Falcon and Winter Soldier, the logo arrived on the screen. It was like, oh man, you guys were doing such a good job of making this the Falcon story. And maybe he can say, no, there won't ever be another Captain America. I may be the guy who was given the shield, but I'm Falcon. And maybe he comes in his own. And boom, we got a new character who's like top tier. It's not that hard. People already like Falcon. Just give him a little bit more and you can elevate him. Similarly to Doctor Strange, his movie happened. Okay, he's like a B level hero, and then Infinity War happens, and he's going toes with Thanos, and then Endgame happens, and he's the mastermind behind this. There was this 14,605 possibilities, and he's the guy who planned and orchestrated that. Now Doctor Strange is an A-lister, in my opinion. I think Falcon's gonna go from C-lister. Let's just give him B, just to be safe.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair, and I think we've got a little. That's how like we're harebrained here. We got a little off topic. What are your expectations with like the WandaVision? Like, what are your like theories and predictions out of the coming into the series and then coming out of it? I mean, obviously, right now we don't know anything about it, much more than what we've got from the trailers.
We know that Wanda will be in Multiverse of Madness, so I'm expecting some universal shenanigans happening here and there. My expectations for it are extremely high because what Mandalorian did for Star Wars. I don't feel like I'm getting anything, cheap. I feel like I'm getting high quality. I feel like it's part of the canon, and it's not like the Netflix series is gonna. Remember how Daredevil was and Punisher was, and they kind of mentioned it a little bit, but you really got to watch it. Agents of Shield, Cloak and Dagger, WandaVision. I'm expecting full connectivity with the MCU, especially when they're using the same actors. So my expectations are movie quality. Like the drought that we've been having since July 2nd of 2019, That's when Spider-Man came out, right?
Yeah,
It was.
yeah.
It was. It was a Tuesday too. So the drought we've had since that date to now will be ended because I'm not waiting for Black Widow to be the first MCU release.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing is like this year, I mean, you kind of pointed that out. This year we've had nothing come out. It has been since 2019. I mean, that's crazy to think about, right?
Especially when we're at the point where we are now. I remember in 2008 we had to wait until Iron Man 2 came out, but this is madness.
Yeah. And the thing is like I know we've all kind of been a little bit impatient with wanting these things to come out, but we can see that like okay, they're like, okay, you took a year off. We're gonna ramp it up now, and we're gonna like, we're gonna jam it down your throats is what we're doing. And the thing is, like, there was some. It seemed like there was a lot of superhero fatigue. People saying like, oh, it's it's burning out. It's coming to an end. The MCU's done. DC EU's But like, I mean, at this point, after basically a year and a half, essentially. Does it seem like that we're like? Does it seem like the hype is dead? Is this over?
The hype is absolutely not dead because if there was fatigue, Far From Home wouldn't have made $1 billion. Birds of Prey sucked. Birds of Prey, but that's a DC property, and they should have named it Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. But that's kind of another story. I don't associate that with fatigue. The fatigue stuff doesn't. No, it never. I never took it as a valid excuse, so I can't even respond to this question. No fatigue.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a little crazy. Like, I get where some people are kind of tuning out. Maybe they don't. Maybe they didn't like Captain Marvel. Maybe they don't want to see Squirrel Girl and some of these things. Hey, whatever. To each their own. To each their own. But the thing is, like for me, like they're getting ready to. Kevin Feige is opening up the toy box. Everything's coming out. My thing is like it's like. We already know it's coming. Expect it, I think it's just with everything like it's just like a Band-Aid, right? Just rip it off. Just rip it off, and that's okay because we see that, and something that I know a lot of people cringe at when they hear these words, but is diversity and inclusivity. Oh my god! Oh my god! But here's the thing: is like. These things are things that have kind of like always existed in films and movies and all this stuff in the first place. Yeah,
it has, hasn't it?
The thing is like it's when it's forced. I don't think that anything that's going on in here is forced through the MCU from what I've seen. Now we could take a look at Captain Marvel and definitely use that as an example, but I don't think it was necessarily something that was forced for diversity or inclusivity. I think they just took a wrong direction in not having actual Marvel in there to establish the story, and they could have been done with that quick. But altogether, I think that don't even really fit the narrative because it's still like it was a little bit forced only in that sense. But I think all of these books, I mean, it's great to get people out there to have all of these different heroes because there's somebody that identifies with all these characters that just like these characters.
You remember the Ike Perlmutter story of how he was trying to he and Feige were fighting back in like 2015, and that's why Marvel Entertainment split into Marvel Studios, and one of the things they were fighting over was Captain Marvel and Black Panther. A woman wouldn't sell, and someone black wouldn't sell. That's what Ike Perlmutter was pushing forward. So you're familiar with this stuff, right? Now, the fact that you're saying, or people are saying, that Captain Marvel was forced, I can look at Ike Perlmutter and be like, I mean, if it was forced, then it was because of him. They had to get this stuff in before Avengers Endgame, or at least they wanted to, and then that's why we didn't get an actual Marvel. That satisfies me, but like everyone's different. I respect everyone's opinion.
Yeah, and see, for me, I mean, like I only get that one thing because like they should have like only because like really like having Marvel in there would have been something so easy to do. You do it like by the time you're halfway through the movie, you could be done with him, and everybody's happy. Nobody really cares after that. But obviously, Brie Larson, what was the bigger deal there than the story itself for most people?
Because she said what? A Wrinkle in Time. I don't want to hear about what a white guy has to say about it. It wasn't made for him. She said that, and
it's weird that we don't hear anything like that. Coming into these series. Maybe it's because most of the people gave up. But like, I mean, take a look at WandaVision and the kind of show that it is. I mean, obviously, we've got All kinds of things going on here, you know, where we've got Wanda, the lead character. We've got Agatha Harkness. We've got, I mean, you know, there's a wide variety
Oh, you mean like
of cast
diversity?
members here, and then going forward as well. And that's one thing I think is important
Yeah.
with, like I said, with what's going on with the Disney Plus stuff, is because they can do all of that stuff there. No origin stories in the movies necessarily. You just get all these characters put in here, and it's easier to sprinkle all those in and let the story build itself.
I like origin stories. So when Feige said he didn't want to do more origins in the movies, I was like, but those are the best ones. So I hope the Fantastic Four get an origin. Now Captain Marvel, I guess it wasn't an origin movie. She already had her powers by the time, you know, the first scene happens. But because they did give us like 5 minutes of her flying the plane, Dr. Lawson's behind her, and she crashes, Jan Rog comes through and shoots the thing. Okay, we got like 5 or 6 minutes of an origin. If they can do that in every movie, like Fantastic Four and Blade, I'm good because I do need that
Yeah,
origin.
and I think they'll do some of that stuff to catch. Because the one thing I do think is that they will have stuff in there for people to get familiar with these characters before in the actual movie. Like when, you know, like Moon Knight has a
Yeah,
series coming out. If they do an actual Moon Knight movie, I think they will do some of that kind of stuff to get you caught up a little bit without giving you everything, because it's like, okay, like you don't have Disney Plus, you don't want to watch a show, that's fine, we'll give you a little bit to catch up here, and then we're just going at it, full force, kind of like they did with Captain Marvel. I think that was one of the things, was like they lacked that kind of they lacked that origin to it, so there was no real, for me the thing is, there was no real connecting to that character because of that. And I think that's what's going to be the cool thing about with these series, where we see, like in WandaVision, they are going to be getting these new characters in here. And how many you know what, how many new characters do you think are going to be introduced that are going to carry on after this series?
Oh, I wasn't thinking any of them wouldn't get carried on, but you're introducing the possibility that some could be failures. I don't think any of them will be failures. But if I had to choose one, since you asked me, the highest likely to be a failure is Moon Knight. Even though Oscar Isaac is probably the best actor they chose, probably him. But let me add something to your Captain Marvel about you not feeling a connection to her. Part of the reason is the plot of the movie. She didn't even know who she was for like 3/4 of the film. So I don't expect you to be like, yeah, you know, I could really relate to that. That wasn't the point of the film.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah, I feel you.
Can you hear that background
Hmm?
noise right now, by the way? Can you hear anything in the background from here? Can you hear any
Nah,
background
nah, you're
noise?
good.
Any audio issues? Anyone in the chat? Let me know, because I do hear it.
Oh.
Sorry. Let me add one more thing. While we're giving Disney Plus their diversity points, fine, but Ironheart, Armor Wars, Ms. Marvel, everyone who's just a different, or even She-Hulk. I guess she's white, but she's still a woman, so I'll give it a diversity point there. All of these things are not going to be in the films, and they're also not going to be, I guess, open to the box office criticism that they could be getting. When it's on Disney Plus, it's safe. It's on that $6.99 streaming service that people already have. You're not asking for much, and there's no public embarrassment when, oh my God, that movie bombed. The public embarrassment that Birds of Prey just went through. So while we're saying how diverse they are, they're also not, I guess, putting their diversity up to the test. They are shielding it from the possibility of a box office bomb, however unlikely that may be. They're shielding it. Let me add one more number. Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think they made 600 million, maybe 630 million in the box office, and that's a 2018 film, and that's when Infinity War just reached 2 billion. A 600 million film is great. You've succeeded, you've profited. But for Marvel standards, it's bad, right? Like, bad, is that safe to say?
I think so. I think so.
And I think they think so, and they're looking at it like, yo, if we get one of our Ms. Marvels to do bad and poorly, like 600 million, it's gonna look bad on us. Let's just do this Disney Plus thing.
Yeah, could be, could be. I think it's just a good way for them to expand the world. And like I said, I think they're going to. I think in all these series, we're going to be. The other day, I was saying, I think that like out of all of these series, I expect no less than 4 characters to be introduced that will carry on in the series and into the movies. No less than 4, maybe in each. Because I figure that gives about, like half the season is going to be introducing characters and then building on those to carry forward.
So let's count them right now. Kamala Khan is going to be in Captain Marvel 2. That was announced.
I'm thinking like per show, like 4 per show. Yeah.
Oh, 4 per show. Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, and
okay.
and that's why I say like characters like just like I think they'll introduce four characters and they'll probably more, but 4 characters in WandaVision that will probably carry on in through future series and future movies. It's kind of what I'm thinking.
Who's gonna get introduced in WandaVision?
Well, for sure we've got Agatha Harkness.
Her. Okay.
Let's see.
So if they don't deal with her in WandaVision, then sorry, you're gonna say the kids?
No. I was just trying to think of who else. I was thinking Monica Rambeau, but they've already established her in Captain Marvel.
Yeah. Same with Jimmy Woo, but yeah, the 2 kids they're gonna be carrying on Wiccan and freaking Speed.
Okay, that brings me up to something else. Are they gonna carry on into the MCU? Because if this is all world that she made up, it's not even real then.
But those, did we just find a plot hole?
Well, I was just thinking like I know she's warping reality and changing stuff, but like, like it just seems a little odd that she's gonna warp, the kids and like it's not real.
Yeah, but she cares so much that it'll be real.
Right, and that's the thing.
It's just you put extra magic in that one.
that's the thing. Like I was sitting there thinking about that. I'm like, but it's not real. But she makes it real. But like, man, it's just like it's almost like Inception. But God, there was something else I was sitting there thinking about with that as well with the WandaVision stuff, because there's so much like. Man, like this thing is blowing my mind. The show, just thinking about everything that's going on in there, and the thing is
I think it's supposed to blow your mind. Yeah.
And the thing is, like I said, we got everything going on in here with all of this stuff, and that's what kind of gives me that. While we got the House of M thing going on there that we pretty much know is happening, it really feels like it's kind of that Pleasant Hill vibe too, where they are actually being there held captive. She starts having dreams and things start changing, and she's warping reality, and just so much going on there. It's crazy. But we're way behind on the chats here. Been nerding out. Guess we can get into here and see what everybody's saying. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, like with WandaVision anything that you're speculating or expecting out of the show?
I'm liking their suits, the throwbacks. I think that's a Halloween costume, like everyone else is saying.
Yeah, definitely. That's yeah. I was digging that, and I think that is kind of what all of the things in the series is what kind of made me think that whole Pleasant Hill vibe, because it seems like they're all looking around like, what's going on here? Like this isn't right. And then just everything else seems like there's like this small town USA. It seems like it's all, like I said, a prison for their mind.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got Will Morgan says, do you think they will ever bring up Scarlet Witch's actual power of jacking up probability? In the comic, it has an effect on the quantum realm, so I don't see why not.
I did not think that. Maybe not. I think they made it this far. They're not gonna like give us Scarlet Witch's whole power set and everything like that. I think this would be the show to do it, but I don't think they will.
Yeah. Except to
what Maria Hill was telling Captain America, he's fast and she's weird. That's all we need.
Right. Let's see. Wait, finale. ReeferMan says, Mike Porter, we only have to wait 2 weeks after the finale of Mandalorian for WandaVision. Yeah, and that's pretty crazy. I mean, thinking about it, like, we're like there, like, Mandalorian is this week. We've got like, well, I don't know. I think it's still about 3 weeks, before we have to wait. I mean, next thing you know, me and you are going to be talking weekly about these shows.
Yeah, why not? They're also releasing the MCU shows on Friday. At least WandaVision. That's going to be on a Friday.
Yeah, so that's going to be some very, very great stuff.
So it comes out, I guess, midnight your time. So Thursday night for you. Will you watch it at midnight, or do you usually watch it in the morning?
I usually watch it in the morning, but oh man, I don't know, man. This is like the MCU we're talking about, bro. I've been thirsting for freaking, you know as much as I do.
And I can't have anything spoiled for me either. The way that I take spoilers seriously for shows like I was watching Josh and Theory yesterday, and they're doing like a live stream. They're answering questions, and every now and again, someone would write something that would spoil the Mandalorian finale, and I couldn't watch them anymore. I had to call it quits. Don't spoil nothing for me, man.
Yeah,
I'll admit it.
Oh man, I had my mic muted there. But yeah, like I usually my mind is going crazy, so a lot of times I forget the spoilers by the time that stuff happens in the show anyway. But anyway, I've got to get ready to go. I've got to go get my kids ready for school and stuff like that. You know how it is, the life. Well, I mean, maybe not with the kids, but you've got a life.
I may have kids too. I've never revealed that. I'm a very private person, actually.
Yeah.
Do I look like a father?
Well, there's not really a look, but I just don't think that you are. I don't get that vibe from you. Not yet. Not yet. But I could be wrong. Prove me wrong. Or not.
Hi, Ashley. I mean, bye, Ashley, since we're saying goodbye.
But if you would, go ahead and let everybody know what we've got coming up and everything, and where they can find you before we go.
Yeah, we'll be doing this a lot more often. We can talk more X-Men, talk WandaVision. We're probably going to talk the finale of Star Wars. We will just be doing this, visiting each other's streams from now until forever. I am Chillmonger on YouTube. It's spelled how it sounds. And let's wrap it up.
So guys, make sure go check out Chillmonger's channel. Subscribe to Chillmonger. If you guys have any questions, I know there's a lot of chats that we didn't get here into on the live stream here. Just kind of fall behind, just being nerds. Please forgive us. But if you guys have any questions or anything you want me to talk about next week with Chillmonger, any questions for us, please feel free to leave those down in the comments below on this video if you're watching it on the replay, or you can get a hold of me or Chillmonger on Twitter. I know you can get a hold of me on Facebook, Instagram, all those different things. You can find all my contact information here on the channel. But definitely leave some questions, comments, anything. We'd love to hear from you guys. You all have a good day. Thank you so much for being here on the Second Street Marvel, and we'll see you all in the next video. Later. All right. Well, thanks for being here, man. It kind of depends. Like Thursdays, I used to do like the the morning after new comic book day, but it really don't matter. Like because I think Mondays are good too, but really up to you, man. As I say, yeah, like Mondays are good for me because like my wife, she don't work on the weekends, and Monday she wakes up and gets the kids ready for school and everything. But that's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. Other than that, pretty much any day works, man. Yeah, sounds good. Mondays work. All right, man. I figured. All right, man. We'll see you later.